Hello, this is Jessica Harrington, Director of Career Development at the Lighthouse. This is the fourth webinar in our five-part webinar series. Today I'm going to talk about creating a professional LinkedIn profile. So to get started, I want to clarify that you don't have to have a LinkedIn profile, but I do want to talk about why I think it can be a great idea. LinkedIn is an excellent networking tool. It's, basically it's like the professional Facebook. It's a chance to showcase your experience, add a little bit more of a personal touch than your resume can. And it can be longer, it can be in more detail, a little more expansive. It gives recruiters a chance to reach out to you, and it can really round out your job search. And LinkedIn is also a great place to search for jobs as well. So I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the different elements of your LinkedIn profile. And I want to start out by talking about your photo that you're going to use. First of all, you want to make sure that you do include a photo. If you're searching for jobs or trying to connect with people, it is kind of an important element to have. When choosing a photo to use, if you have a professional headshot, that's a great option. Don't use selfies, things like that. You in a bathing suit at the beach probably isn't the most appropriate photo either. So just something where you're in professional clothing with a simple background. If you don't have a professional photo at this point, just finding a plain wall and putting on some professional clothing, making sure that you're, well groomed and professional looking, and have someone take a photo of you. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but it also shouldn't be, something that you would put necessarily as your, Instagram photo. In terms of choosing a banner image, you can just leave it with the blue background that they give you on LinkedIn. That said, I really recommend using a relevant banner image. There's plenty of sites where you can find free stock photos. There's a couple different things you can do. Like, for instance, you can use like a skyline shot of the city you're in. You could, include a picture of the beach since we're in Virginia Beach. You could say you're doing something with, I don't know, global marketing, we'll say. Then maybe you include a photo of the globe or, something along those lines. You want to find something that kind of fits with either what you're doing or where you are. Now your headline. This shows up at the top of your profile, right under your picture. It will default to your current employment information if you do not update it. Now, you can leave it as is, but it's a really good opportunity to highlight your profession, your education, or your skills. So I have some examples here. Senior majoring in biology at VWU, marketing intern, environmental activist. But this bottom one here is what I really recommend. Say you have experience as a supervisor at H&M, so you have experience in leadership, sales management, and training likely because of that. So what I suggest is putting keywords in and then separating them either with like a vertical line or a bullet point or something along those lines. It kind of sets you apart and it draws a little bit more attention to that and kind of invites people in. Now, your summary. This is probably the most important part of your profile aside from your picture. It is almost like the cover letter of your LinkedIn profile. You're going to write it in the first person. You can kind of format it however you want, but you still want to keep it concise. You can talk a little bit about your personality or your interests, but you mostly want to keep it professional. It's a chance for you to highlight your skills and your experience, talk about your education a little bit. And, you know, there's a little bit of room to be a little bit funny or have a little bit of fun. It's kind of a chance to showcase who you are. But you want to make sure that you're tailoring it to your audience. For instance, say you finish up at Virginia Wesleyan and you end up going to law school and you're working in regulatory compliance. You might not want to joke around too much if that's, you know, that's your audience. Something like that. But if you're interested in creative writing, comedy, something like that, like that's where you want to make sure that you're kind of highlighting some of that. And some additional notes about creating a LinkedIn profile. You want to make sure that you create a full profile. That means put your picture in, choose a banner image, choose a headline, write the summary section, and then make sure that you include your education. You worked hard on it, so make sure you include it. Your work history, if you've received awards, different things like that. You also want to make sure that you adjust your settings as needed. If you are interested in employment, make sure you turn on recruiter alerts. If you are working somewhere and maybe you are interested in employment and you don't want them to know, just be aware that with recruiter alerts, there's no guarantee that a recruiter for your employer can't see that. Another important thing with creating a LinkedIn profile is to update the URL for your page, especially if you're going to include a link to your LinkedIn profile on your resume. You don't want to have that like 40 character long LinkedIn, you know, .com/ your name and then like 45 numbers after it. Instead, you can shorten it. It doesn't cost anything to do it. Just if you are looking at your profile on the top right, there's URL settings on the top right, and you can just go in and edit it right there. It takes 2 seconds. I recommend using your first and last name. If you're like me and you have a really common name like Jessica Harrington, you might have to add a number or, you know, something like that after it. Like I believe mine is Jessica Harrington 3. Also, other things that you can do, you can upload your resume into your LinkedIn page. You can also upload a link to your profile or your portfolio as well, which is a good opportunity to kind of just connect everything. You know, if you have taken the time to create a portfolio, by all means, make sure that you link it to your LinkedIn profile. Just make sure that you have gone through and pulled out any kind of work in progress work. You want to only include final products with like no professor comments or anything like that. And also, Professor Hansen has a YouTube channel where he shares videos on branding yourself and creating a successful LinkedIn profile. So I've included a link to his YouTube page as well if you're interested in viewing those videos. And of course, just like I'm available to help with everything from resumes, cover letters, internships, interviewing, I am also available to help you with your LinkedIn profile. Please feel free to email me at jharrington@vwu.edu. You can also make an appointment with me by going to calendly.com/jharrington-3.